Restaurant owners and operators, let's talk about how to make your marketing simple. And what this is going to be about is its proven method of driving new and repeat business using digital methods that you can track. So this is the real issue that's at hand here, is because there's a lot of marketing that can be done for restaurants and for businesses in general, but especially for restaurants, doing billboards, doing magazines, maybe you do radio or TV or something like that. And what this is going to be something completely different from it. And it uses digital social media to be able to track and build an asset for your restaurant that's going to allow you to have guests coming in again and again and again. So let's hop into this and talk about exactly how you're able to do this and exactly how you're able to have this in place. So what happens with traditional marketing, especially if you're doing radio, you're doing TV, you're doing print, and maybe you're doing billboards or some other method of marketing your restaurant, is they all have merits. However, you're really stuck in a hope and a pray method of getting these people that you reach back into your restaurant. What do I mean by that? Well, when somebody comes into the restaurant with an offer that they've heard about on the radio, or maybe they have a coupon in their hand, when they walk in the door and they spend the money, you have to hope and pray that you'll be able to reach them again and get them back into the restaurant to spend more money. There's nothing put into place that's going to allow you to be able to reach back out to them and invite them back into your restaurant for another visit. So let's cut to the chase. How do we get around that? Well, what I've got right here is an example of what we do to help restaurants get more guests in the door and to be able to extend their reach, to be able to drive new people into the restaurant who've never heard of it before. And you can see, we'll look briefly at this here, but obviously this is on social media. And we take this as the front end piece of our entire program that drives everything else that I'm going to be talking about here in this presentation. So let's take a look here really quick. We can see we've got 6,616 people reached, 1,194 reactions, comments, and shares. That's combining the likes, the loves, the laughs, the wows, all the comments, and everything like that. And we'll dive deeper into this here later on. But I wanted to show you how we're going to take you away from the hope and the pray method of, gosh, those people, we ran a great promotion and a lot of people came in from it, but now we have no way of inviting those people back into our restaurant without running another type of promotion. And so really, let's think about exactly how this works, and I'm going to show you right now, and it's going to make a whole lot of sense, I hope. So where is your guest attention? Well, this picture shows it super clear, is that when people are sitting down in the restaurant, they're looking at their phones. When the server comes over to take their order, a lot of the times what's going to happen is they're not going to be ready to make their order because they've been looking at their phones and passing the time and doing, sending texts or checking emails or checking Facebook or doing these different things, right? So all of the time, your guest's attention is here. And even think about yourself and your family. Where is their attention, right? So here's the thing that we believe with this, is that you need to be there. You need to be right there on their phone where their attention is, because when you do that and you come across them with something that's an offer that they cannot refuse, well, now you've got the building blocks to start seeing those trackable results that I'm going to talk about here. So we believe that you need to be where your guest's attention is. And we know that their attention is on Facebook, is on Instagram, is on places like YouTube and TikTok. These are the places where when they're sitting and waiting at your restaurant, they're looking at. And what I'm going to show you next is how you can leverage all of that attention and stay top of mind so that you can continually invite your guests back again and again, week after week, so you're constantly staying in front of them. And how does that work? Well, here's really how it works. And we believe that if you're spending money on any kind of advertising, that advertising should be building you something. And we say you need to spend that money on your ad dollars to build yourself a database where you're going to be able to get name, phone number, email, birthdays information as well on a best case scenario of people who are walking in the door and spending money at your restaurant. And not only those people, but also the people who are outside the restaurant who haven't had an opportunity to make it in yet. And what usually happens with traditional type marketing, you can see here at the bottom with the red arrow, is that you spend your ad dollars on a radio ad, on a TV ad, on a billboard, on a flyer, on a magazine ad, and you're spending it to get immediate sales. And it's been that way for a long time. But what's the problem with that? Well, the big problem with that is that if the promotion goes well and you want to reach those people again, you got to spend the same amount of money to reach the same people. And what about the people who never even looked at it, never even listened to it, threw the flyer away? You're not able to exclude those people from your next marketing campaign and not spend money on them. But what you can do with our Restaurant Secret Weapon marketing strategy is you can do exactly that. You can spend your ad dollars to build yourself a database of people who you'll have a name, a phone number, an email for. You'll possibly have even their birthday. And you're going to be able to reach them one time and then not have to pay to reach them with the same offer again, because you'll have their contact information to be able to stay relevant and stay in front of them. And so instead of your ad dollars going to reach the same people on every time you send out a promotion, with our program, you're able to spend your ad dollars to reach new people every single time and continue to grow your base of customers that are coming in through the doors. This is how you eliminate the hope and pray methods of marketing for your restaurant. So let's move on to the next spot. We know that there's 3 ways to increase your restaurant sales. We got to get new customers in the door. That's a given. But one of the overlooked parts of bringing in new customers is actually in your current customer base. Because what we're needing to do is that your current customers are your best promoters. They're the ones who talk the most and share the most about your restaurant online. And so it really is smart to be able to get your current customers' information so that you can follow up with them as well and send them relevant offers when anything's going on with your restaurant, because they're going to be the best promoters for it. And then obviously the new customers. It's the lifeblood of every restaurant. You've got to get new guests in the door to be able to discover your food, be able to become current customers. And we want to turn the new and the current customers into repeat customers, because we know that's where the growth really happens with your restaurant. And the final part of it is we want to increase that average check, right? We want to have people add things on to their meals, their dessert. They want to add an appetizer. They want to get maybe a drink or something like that. But we want to be able to increase that average check. And when you have a system in place like Restaurant Secret Weapon, you're able to do that because you can reach out to these people at any time that you need. So how do we do this for restaurants? Well, number one, it all starts with attention. First, you've got to have somebody's attention before you can do anything at all. And so we're going to take the attention that the brand is going to get, the likes, the shares, the views of the videos, the engagements, and all the eyeballs that are seeing your brand on Facebook and on Instagram and on these online platforms. And we're going to take that and we're going to harness that into a database. Now we're going to take that database of these people. Now we're starting to learn more about them. We're starting to learn, do they have kids? When do they visit? What offers do they prefer? We can ask them for different things like reviews, and we can send them relevant offers through the database because we have that contact information. But not only that, we're going to take that database and then we're going to use that to drive sales. Remember how we talked about before that traditional marketing, you're renting an audience and you're spending the money to get immediate sales. Well, with us, you're spending the money, but you're getting yourself an asset, and you're creating an asset that you're going to own and you're going to be able to use for years and years to come to market to drive sales. Now, because of that and because of the database we build and the sales it brings, you're going to bring that customer data, right? Like we talked about, you're going to be able to get their birthday and invite them in on their birthday to celebrate. You're going to be able to find out, are they male or female? How often do they visit? When do they eat? Where are they located? Are they married? Do they have kids? All of this great stuff, because then now what you're able to do with this last part is you're able to nurture these people. You're able to have conversations down the road that make sense to them. So when you send out a text or an email blast, you're not sending it out to everybody for an offer, say for instance, for Kids Eat Free, right? There's only going to be a certain percentage of people who are going to be interested in that. So it makes sense to find out which of your guests have kids and only send that offer to them, right? Same kind of thing with any kind of offer you can come up with. When you have data on your guests, you can do a lot more for your restaurant to drive business at different parts of the day. So once you have that data as well, though, a fantastic thing you can do is you can use this online to retarget those people. And what does that mean? Well, that means when you feed that information back into Facebook, they're going to be able to take that and they're going to be able to find out all of the data points that those people have on Facebook, and they're going to go out and find people that are just like them that will also be interested in what you have to offer. So it really turns into a machine that works for you while you're in your restaurant doing everything else that you need to do. So now let's take a deeper look at these stats and what does it mean. When we take a look at the 1,194 reactions, comments, and shares, that's signaling that this post on Instagram and on Facebook is incredibly popular among the people who are engaging with it. So Facebook is automatically going to reward us and give us better reach and more preferential treatment when we're running stuff like this. Now, you're going to be able to use this, and the 1,040 comments that are on this particular post and the 72 shares, I mean, you can see that something like this is probably in the top 1% of all restaurants on Facebook for the type of engagement and everything else that it's getting, right? It's by far and away one of the top performing posts. And you use this, like I said, all of it is being used to drive a database, to be able for you to know who your guests are and find out more about them so that you can drive additional sales, not only on the front end, but on the back end as well, because as the visits continue, you know you're going to be able to have them come back again and again. So what good is marketing if you don't know that it works? And with traditional marketing, like we talked about, it's a lot of hope and pray. Well, what we provide with all of the clients that we work with is a dashboard that shows you the proof that what we're doing is working. The first thing we want to look at is we want to get awareness. And when we're able to get awareness and get people aware that your restaurant exists and that they can come in and eat some delicious food, well, that's going to drive everything else. So the first step with that is the awareness is going to actually prove to us that we're finding the right people. The people who are going to come in, who are going to spend money, and who are going to turn it into repeat customers. So what we show you here is not only the awareness, though, we show you what you're building with that awareness. And you're building a database of people where you have their contact information that you can reach out to them right away. And what we're looking to do here is we're looking to drive that first visit into the restaurant, because the first visit is going to be tracked here on this side of our system. And so once the first visit is tracked, we're also going to send them gentle reminders through these communication channels to come back into the restaurant, or if they've claimed the offer and they haven't been in, to come in the door and use the offer that we've sent to them through this. Now, when you have all of this data, you have a huge amount of power in the palm of your hand. Because now, like we said, you're going to be able to do different things like survey the customer after the first visit. You're going to be able to launch another series of offers and be able to reach them for special events that you're doing to drive them in and spend money as well. So what is it worth to have your guests' contact info? Well, here's another look at a separate dashboard from another client we're working with. And what we can see with this is that we've gotten over 246,000 impressions is what it's called, but really it's eyeballs. It's 246,000 times these advertisements we run have been seen. And that's led to a database of just under 3,200 people, of which 491 have walked in the door and spent $8,260 on the front end. So we spent a total of $1,123 on Facebook and on Instagram to drive a front end sales of an 8-to-1 ROI. Now you can see here that if we take a look, each person, average check, $16.82. A pretty decent average check. This is a fast casual place. Some restaurants we work with have a much higher ticket. Some are in the middle, and some are like this, about $16, $17. Now, what we really look at, though, is we know that this here is just the front end. We know that if they come in the door and we bring them through this system and they come in and have a good experience, they have great food, and they love the atmosphere and they love the place, why wouldn't they come back? The answer is they would come back. And so what we look at with that is we know that on average, if we can get them in 3 to 4 times, you've got over a 70% chance of them turning into a regular for your restaurant. And that's what this annual impact looks at here, and the return on investment. So every one of our clients that we work with gets this dashboard. It keeps up to date by the minute so they can see how the program is performing whenever they're working with us here, and they can see that they're actually showing a return on investment, and you can see that they're actually being able to know that their marketing is working. Once again, like we talked about, all the impressions here are for is to signal to us that we're reaching the right people, which then will show up here in the database that we build, and will show up here in covering the front end cost on track sales, as you can see an 8-to-1 ROI here, and a 154-to-1 ROI on the annual impact, depending upon how many annual visits you can expect to generate with your restaurant. Some are more, some are less. Now, what you can do with all of this, we talked about building the relationship. Well, you're able to see this information here on the dashboard, and we're able to craft these programs for you, or if you have something in place already, you're able to use this data and craft your own emails and send them into your loyalty programs or whatever else it is that you want to do. So you have the power in your hands, like I said. So the real question with this is, would you spend $1,123 total dollars to acquire a database of 3,141 people that live within 3 to 5 miles of your restaurant and be able to drive in current front-end sales of $8,260, all for that $1,123? And I think the answer to that is absolutely. If we have somebody's attention and we have their information and we do a great job with our product and our customer service and our atmosphere in the restaurant, they're going to come back over and over again throughout the year. Would you spend $1,123 to get thousands of engagements and reach on social media? Absolutely you would. But you have to understand how to do it, and you've got to understand what's happening. And that's exactly what Restaurant Secret Weapon is able to do for you. We work with restaurants across the country to create their secret weapon and put this program into place for them so that they can continue to drive repeat business time after time and be able to create deeper relationships with the community and the people that live around them and reach new people and turn those new people into repeat guests who walk in the door. Now, on top of that, the engagement that we bring along with that actually has been shown for some of our clients to raise their profits 90% year over year by simply working with us. So I'd love to know if this would be a great fit for your restaurant. And if you'd love to know that as well, you can go to restaurantsecretweapon.com/schedule and get onto my calendar, and we can do a live walkthrough demo for you to see exactly how this would work and how we would put it into place for you and start getting you those type of results. So that's it, guys. I'm Matt. You can reach me here at my phone number. You can go to restaurantsecretweapon.com to check us out, and you can also go to restaurantsecretweapon.com/schedule to schedule your demo for Restaurant Secret Weapon. I'm Matt Schulteis with Restaurant Secret Weapon, where we create your secret weapon. Take care.